While the Centauri waged their campaign of extermination against the Zon on a distant continent, their world attracted the notice of beings from beyond their sky. The Shogren, a brutal race of conquerors from another star, descended upon the Centauri homeworld and launched coordinated strikes against its major cities and population centers. Curiously indifferent to the Zon, the invaders concentrated their assault exclusively on the Centauri. Historians dispute the true nature of this invasion. Some suggest the Shogren served a far greater power elsewhere in the galaxy, perhaps even the shadows. While this master species showed no interest in the Centauri's corner of space, their servants appeared driven to subjugate the world. The Shogren's attention may have been drawn not only to the Centauri themselves, but to another alien presence on the planet, the Technomiges. According to historical records, the Technomiges arrived on the Centauri homeworld during the early Centauri offensives against the Zon continent. Their reasons for coming remain unrecorded, but their relationship with House Toscano, one of the Centaurim's ruling families, is well documented. The Technomiges provided House Toscano with remarkably advanced technology and permitted select family members to study alongside them in what appeared to be a cultural exchange. The full extent of the technological advancement they provided, however, remains a matter of speculation. When the Shogren invasion began, the Technomiges threw their support behind House Toscano, helping to rally the Centaurum against the would-be conquerors. Though no records document direct Technomage participation in the battles against the Shogren, it strains credibility to believe the Centauri could have matched their pre-industrial weaponry against the Shogren's advanced war machines without substantial covert aid. Historians theorize that upon their departure following the war's conclusion, the Technomiges systematically erased all evidence of their involvement. The Technomiges took most of their legacy with them when they left, but one enduring consequence remained. Their support had elevated House Toscano to preeminence among the Centaurum and secured its lord's ascension to the newly established imperial throne. Lord Toscano adopted the name Kiro to mark his transformation from House Lord to Emperor, a symbolic gesture meant to position himself as first among equals rather than a ruler who would favor his own bloodline. With the Shogren threat eliminated, Emperor Kiro and the Centaurum redirected their full might against the Zon. Armed with industrial-age technology derived from the Technomiges' parting gifts, the Centauri became an unstoppable force. They pursued the Zon to the furthest reaches of their continent and annihilated them completely. Though this genocide concluded 3 centuries after Kiro's coronation, he is credited throughout history as the architect of the Zon's extermination. Whether this attribution stems from faulty record-keeping or from some extraordinary longevity bestowed by the Technomiges remains unknown. The wars had ended. The Zon were extinct, the Shogren reduced to fading memory. Though the Centauri now knew that life flourished among the stars, they possessed no means to reach it. Over the following centuries, the Centaurum consolidated power, steadily tightening their grip on Centauri society. By the close of what historians call the formative era of Centauri civilization, the essential structures had crystallized. The nobility, the common classes, and the imperial government were all firmly established. The Centauri people stood united, but equality remained a distant dream. Those connected to the founding families of the Centaurum enjoyed privilege and prosperity, while the regions under their dominion languished in comparative poverty. The Centaurum families had elevated themselves to elite status, and from there, nobility became inevitable. A select few families with resources or influence to offer were granted similar elevation, but the vast majority of Centauri found themselves relegated to the underprivileged masses. Thus emerged the noble and commoner classes that persist in the Republic to this day. Though formal codification awaited the Diem Centauris Compact of C810, the division between classes grew unmistakable long before then. The societal elite became easily distinguishable from ordinary Centauri. While wealth opened a gulf between the classes, political power became the true chasm. The nobles shaped policy through the royal court. Commoners could only submit to their decrees and hope to survive on whatever scraps they were granted. Predictably, the Diem Centauris sparked dozens of insurrections, each more violent than the last. 2 years after the compact's signing, full-scale civil war erupted in the southern provinces of the Prime Continent, the Centauri's ancestral homeland. Skirmishes and unrest had plagued the region long before, but this conflict marked something unprecedented. the first instance of Centauri fighting Centauri since the ancient Dominion wars that preceded their conflict with the Zon. Nothing could have prepared the Centauri for what followed. Weapons designed to kill the brutally resilient Zon proved devastatingly effective against their own kind. Explosives reduced ancient buildings to rubble in moments. Cannons obliterated horse, rider, and home indiscriminately as the Civil War engulfed the populated centers of imperial cities. The nobility discovered that elevated status offered no protection against a commoner's firearm. Commoners learned that regardless of the justice of their cause, the upper class would fight with equal ferocity. The devastation and horror of this first civil war shocked both sides into a swift ceasefire. Nobles and commoners alike realized that continued bloodshed, regardless of who had been wronged or denied their due respect, would lead only to mutual annihilation. A fragile peace emerged, accompanied by grudging concessions from both sides. Life returned to a state of tense calm. Though sporadic violence erupted over the next 2 decades, an uneasy peace prevailed. With Emperor Barago II's rise, everything turned darker. Vile as any Zon, whispers circulated through his court during his absences. His bloodline had been corrupted somewhere between his honored ancestor and the present generation. While matching the first Barago's intolerance toward nobility, this descendant lacked entirely his predecessor's rustic charm or any redeeming qualities. He was irreverence and callousness made flesh. Barago II became the Centauri's first true test of the imperial way's divine eminence. No Centauri had ever imagined an emperor could be anything less than forceful and insightful. The bloodline had failed. Barago II was myopic, brutal, and concerned only with those aspects of the Republic that enriched him personally. This reign witnessed the only time in history when the royal court willingly orchestrated a direct coup. When Barago II decreed that taxes on the working classes would triple for 2 years to finance a new imperial palace on his family's estates, the surrounding nobles could no longer remain idle. Recognizing that such an edict would ignite another revolution, they ensured the proclamation never left the chamber. One noble struck first, then another, until finally every courtier rose against the emperor. Emperor Barago II possessed one gift from his heritage: formidable physical strength. The ornamental weapons carried in the royal court couldn't kill him instantly, even when the first nobles struck from surprise. He and his guards survived long enough to drag 9 assembled nobles with them into death's darkness. Blood drenched the palace's white marble. Those who survived the massacre did so through fortune or cunning alone. When the royal guard flooded the hall, nothing remained but to count the dead. The survivors faced a dire quandary. Though the emperor had been a monster, his legacy remained one of divine appointment by the Great Maker. Even as faith in old beliefs waned throughout the Republic, the nobles knew they would face execution if their role in Barago II's death came to light. They required a scapegoat and found one in a dead palace servant killed during the coup's crossfire. But lies beget lies, and blood demands blood. With the Minister General dead on the Centaurum floor, the royal guard, now largely uncontrolled, took it upon themselves to punish this supposed crime. They rounded up the servant's family and executed them in their homes. Other families in the city witnessed palace soldiers killing citizens for no apparent reason, and old hatreds erupted anew. The royal guards never escaped the city. They were slaughtered in retaliation mere feet from their victims. This ignited the most vicious civil war in the Republic's history. The nobles who survived Emperor Barago II's assassination understood their complicity, but events spiraled beyond their control too rapidly to contain. They had inadvertently provided the Centauri commoners with the very excuse for revolution they had sought to prevent. For an entire generation, the skies of the Centauri homeworld darkened with the smoke of wartime pyres. 50 years after Barago II's death, Emperor Ludo III achieved a ceasefire using an unusual weapon for the age: the truth. The surviving nobles had confessed their crime in closed court after documents surfaced implicating them in his predecessor's assassination. Their executions followed an unprecedented act in imperial history. Emperor Ludo III issued a direct apology to the Centauri people, asking them to lay down their weapons and rebuild their world. The tax relief and additional concessions accompanying his speech proved equally instrumental in ending the violence.